Hey, welcome to Thinking is Contagious. I want to talk a little bit about the election and what's coming up here with this, the Trump campaign and their allegations of the voter fraud, and it's more than just oversights here and there. It's pretty systemic. Yesterday I heard Trey Traynor, FEC chair, speaking specifically about Pennsylvania, and said the violations that have occurred and that affidavits attest to and the videotape attests to, where observers are not allowed to witness the ballot count. He said that makes it by law a not legitimate election. But that is in violation of the law. And he goes on to say that why would this occur? And he says if there was not something going on, he quote unquote, otherwise they would allow observers in. That got me thinking. The point that really got me thinking, though, is what's happening in swing states, and to the extent that it's happening, what they call the Biden only or Trump only votes. In other words, where the ballot only votes for the president and no one else. So, it gives the appearance of either someone who doesn't want to bother knowing who anyone is just interested in voting for the high profile position, or people who are trying to stuff the ballots and are not worried about the down ballot but want to just take care of the presidency. So you say, okay, what is it? Well, historically it's been pretty even on the Democrat-Republican side. So if there was 1,000 only Obama-only votes in 2008, and there was probably 900 or 1,000 or 1,100 or something close on the McCain side. In Georgia this year, there was 750 votes Trump only, and there was 95,000 votes for Biden only. That's pretty far from even. That's 1,000 to 1, right? More than 1,000, 1,200 to 1, something like that. That's something doesn't jive there. I've said that I don't want this to be right, because what it does is, one little mistake like this, if this is really what the Trump campaign is saying that this is a rigged election, even if this is the first one in the history of the country, it taints every single election in the history of this country. It taints the democratic process. It gives ground for the enemies of democracy to come out and say, told you it doesn't work. So it's dangerous. So I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right. As much as I would not want, that I do not want a Kamala Harris presidency, as much as I do not want a Bernie Sanders Department of Labor secretary, the head of labor, as much as I don't want Elizabeth Warren as the head of banking and finance, as much as I don't want those things, what I want less is for the reputation of this country to be tainted. So I'm torn, because I also know that if you're sick, God forbid, if a malignancy is discovered, take it out, cut it out, go through the rehab, go through the therapy, go through the chemo, go through the terrible phase that you have to go to know that you come out on the other side stronger and cleaner and better. So that's where I'm torn here. And this thing about the Biden only and the Trump only votes is, to me, the true smoking gun. This does make me think, if this is verifiable, again, I just heard about this today actually, if this is verifiable that there's this kind of discrepancy, and this does get in front of the Supreme Court, this election will be overturned. You can rest assured of that. This is a critical component of what the Trump campaign is going after. And we all need to be concerned if this is true. Whether we voted for Biden or Trump or no or indifferent, we need to know that this is not the case. They are saying, I also heard that in Allegheny County in Pennsylvania, the projected amount via the review of the voter rolls before the election of voters over 90 was approximately 3,500. The votes having been tallied, there was over 11,500 over 90 voters. 2.5 times, almost 3 times actually, 3 times what the projected total of over 90 voters was supposed to be based on the rolls, the voter rolls. The Arizona said that the number of potential non-citizen votes, this is from an Arizona state representative, said that in initial reviews of the voter rolls, that the number of potential non-citizen voters who voted, non-citizens who voted in Arizona, is higher than the Biden lead in Arizona. In other words, it's potentially more illegal votes were cast than what Biden has as a lead at this point in Arizona. We are looking at some allegations that, if they are true, it's going beyond a dead person voting here or there, or it's going beyond, it's getting serious. And if this is true, there are people who need to be held accountable. And I keep going back to this, the corruption to which this country has stooped, if this is true. The corruption that will have invaded this country. Again, this is if this is true. But my personal belief is that history will prove that there was never a more corrupt presidency, administration than Obama-Biden. I think Barack Obama will prove to be the most corrupt, self-serving president in the history of this country. I think history will be written that way. Just what has been declassified in the last several months about the Russia probe, the FBI. Don't tell me that that wasn't knowledge that was at the hands of the administration. The railroading of Trump, the destruction of General Flynn, the lies, the Pfizer warrants, the Carter Page lies, the Steele dossier being totally fabricated and them fully aware of it, the Hillary emails being subpoenaed and destroyed. This all goes to the very top. I'm sorry, this doesn't happen without the knowledge of Barack Obama. So I laugh when I hear Michelle Obama being quoted and revered as a great first lady. This is the woman who said that until her husband was named the presidential candidate for the Democratic Party in 2008, until then she had not been, as an adult, had not been proud of America. This is a woman who held a function for Harvey Weinstein and called him a close personal friend and a wonderful human being. The country became divided under Barack Obama like we haven't seen. Even worse than the civil rights days of the 60s. And I've explained to you my theory on why that happened. Because the racist the anti-American left that always plays the race card as a response, as a defense in an argument once they know they can't win it. Once the facts have been aired, the fallback position is, yeah, but you're a racist. They lost that trump card. They lost it. Excuse the pun. They lost the trump card when a predominantly white voter roll elected a black man president twice in Barack Obama. And they panicked. They said, we can't play this card anymore. We've got to bring racism back to the forefront. We've got to divide this country. We've got to cause civil strife and unrest. We've got to create protests. We've got to create police brutality. We've got to bring back the 60s. We've got to regain control of the system. And that's what we're living through right now. If this election gets overturned, there will be pandemonium on the streets. You see today with the Trump results that so far it looks like Biden has the electoral votes, electoral college votes. You haven't seen anything. You haven't seen any burning, pillaging, looting, rioting. Police officers haven't been shot. Remember, if this gets overturned, and 3 days ago I would have told you 0 chance. Today I'm going to tell you it's a 25% chance. I still think that even if there's a little bit there, exposing it is not going to be the option that the swamp and the political realm takes. They're going to bury it a little further. But at this point today, if you ask me, is this something that needs to be further looked into before we say Joe Biden is the president of the United States? 100% absolutely. 100% absolutely. And by the way, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, if you have nothing to hide, you'll be the first ones to say, let's get to the bottom of this. If you believe in democracy, you'll be the first ones to say, let's get to the bottom of this. And if you believe that you truly won the election, you'll be the first to say, let's get to the bottom of this. You'll stop the nonsense about naming cabinets and naming people for positions. You'll stop that nonsense because you are adding to the divisiveness of this country. This has great potential for great gravity. We need to handle this very carefully, but we need to be sure that we handle this very honestly. And at this point, it needs to be looked into. I need to get to the point where I feel that we're producing what you want to hear. And I'd like to get the feedback. I'd like to hear from you. Whether you agree or disagree, I'd like to hear from you. And I would really like to see the subscribers increase. And I would really like each one of you, I'm asking each one of you that listens to this, send it to one person. Let's get this word out. And let's follow up. Let's make Facebook feel the pain. Let's make Twitter feel the pain. Boycott them. Okay. Thank you. Have a good weekend. I will talk to you tomorrow anyway, but let's keep up the faith and hopefully the truth comes out. Thank you.